So the number 2 ranked team on our 2026 running back projections is the Indiana Hoosiers.
Who
Indiana,
knows?
who. So Indiana was ranked third in our 2025 composite rankings for rushing offense, which is based on what you did in critical down and distance and what you did against the best teams on your schedule. Indiana played the hardest strength of schedule, seeing as how they went all the way in the college football playoffs, our champion Hoosiers. Look, let's look at what IU did on offense last year. You had Heisman Dosa at quarterback, obviously, but Sig's first priority on offense is to ground and pound and establish the run and get physical with you on the line of scrimmage. He has the backs and offensive line to do exactly that this year, just like he did last year. You guys, Hoosiers, you lost Kalon Black and Roman Hemby over 2,000 yards rushing last year, but you have more back than you might think. You got Kobe Martin back. He'll be a sophomore out of Fishers High School. Got a ton of game experience last year. Over 500 rushing yards, Coach Drew. Probably the fastest, most explosive back in this group. But that's not to say that we don't have other backs. And we have other backs that are more experienced. No disrespect meant towards Turbo Richard and Lee Beebe. Turbo Richard out of Boston College transferred is a great pickup. Great runner between the tackles. I think that his running style is very similar to Kalon Black in terms of power and shiftiness, ability to move the hips, lower the shoulder, wiggle between the tackles. Richard, as we've said previously, is a good pass catcher out of the backfield. Signetti's not really done a lot of passing to running backs out of the backfield, but Richard has that skill set in his toolbox. And last but not least, Lee Beebe returns from injury last year. He looked really good as a Hoosier last year. Before an injury against Indiana State, he had over 200 yards in 3 games in a 3-man rotation with Black and Hemby. So this is a guy that Signetti really likes. He had over 1,200 yards at UAB before he transferred to Indiana. So you've got 2 backs in Beebe and Richard who have seen a ton of experience as a lead running back at other schools, and then Martin, who was recruited here. We hear a lot about transfer portal, Coach Drew, with Indiana. Oh, all their good players are transfer portal guys. Well, A, that's not really true. Carter Smith, All-American left tackle returning, was not a transfer portal guy. But you got Kobe Martin that this coaching staff brought in. This guy is a big league level running back. He's got 2 veterans in the room with him. This is a deep running back group that is going to run behind the top offensive line, not in the Big Ten, but in the country. This is by far the top returning run blocking offensive line. You got 3 good backs who are well coached in a system with a line that can open holes. The Indiana Hoosiers might run their way back to the Big Ten title game next year, Coach Drew. In fact, they might run their way to the college football playoff and make a big run there again. Don't want to make any huge predictions here in the early preseason, but this Indiana run game is going to be stacked.
I mean, some might say they might turbo their way to a championship. BB. See what I did there? It's like a Mad Lib with running backs at Indiana. I mean, fill in fun names. I mean, we did have Black and Hembe. I mean, that would have been fun last year if we would have done that. I don't know. But I will say this, though. We do got Turbo Richards, who looks to have a breakout. This guy looks like exactly what you just lost, and now you got that. BB is going to come there and come back from injury and just do damage, honestly. I mean, that's what they do. They're going to hand the ball off. Josh Hoosier is going to make sure they get the ball. I'm excited.
Yeah, the Indiana offense, as we've talked about in other videos, not to dwell on other position groups while we're talking about running backs, you might not upgrade at quarterback. Your quarterback won the Heisman last year. You might not upgrade at receiver. You lost 2 to the NFL, but you've got depth back in the running back room and on the offensive line that sets the quarterbacks and receivers up for success. We're obviously did another video on quarterbacks, and we got another one about wide receivers coming out. The Hoosiers are going to run the hell out of the ball again in 2026. I think that the run game production might be better this year in Bloomington than it was last year, despite losing 2,000 yards out of your top two backs.
Those are some money ball stats right there. How to replace production? We're not only going to replace it, but we're going to double it and pass it to the next guy.